Hey Sugar Spun Bakers, Sam here, and today we are doing something a little bit different. Today we are celebrating the fact that we've hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is something I really never thought would even happen, and I just wanted to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, seriously, for subscribing. I wanted to do something a little bit different to celebrate. So I have whipped out the Lonely Mixer. Today, she's going to be getting some screen time, but today we're not really doing a recipe. It's more of a bake along / an ask me anything kind of video. Today, I'm going to be making the very first video I ever recorded for YouTube. This is my big soft oatmeal cookies, and if you want to bake along with me, I'll make sure I link to that recipe in the description so you can go ahead and get started. Now over on Instagram, I asked a bunch of you if you wanted to send in some questions for me to answer today for this special video. So I have a list of questions, or actually Zach has a list of questions, and he's going to be asking them to me as I bake this original YouTube video recipe. So let's go ahead and get started. Zach, do you have any questions you wanted to start with? I'm not sure what he's gonna ask, so I'm a little bit nervous.
Do you have formal training as a pastry chef?
I do not. I actually have no formal baking experience or cooking experience, unless you want to count the 6 years I worked at an Arby's fast food restaurant, which I certainly do not. My background is actually in research. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. But I've been baking my whole life. And I'm gonna get some butter and sugar, brown sugar, creaming together. And I guess you can go ahead and ask me some more questions. All right, I'll be drowning you out with a mixer, so we'll go ahead and make sure we pop up that question so everybody can see it. Go ahead. I think anybody can start a baking vlog. I think that the internet, it's so accessible, it's so easy to start a baking blog. You can literally get one started for free. And at 15, I wish I knew what a blog was at 15 because I would have started then. Do I get sick of sweets? So I've been doing this, I've been baking my whole life and I've never really gotten sick of sweets, but at the beginning of this pregnancy, for a couple weeks there, I did not want to eat anything with sugar. It made my mouth feel gross, it made me feel really nauseous. So I'd say that's the only time I'd ever say I was sick of sweets. I have a serious sweet tooth. All right, next I know I need eggs. I don't have the recipe in front of me, I just have the ingredients, so let's hope I don't mess this up too badly.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog a sandwich? That's a question? Yes. I've never thought about this before. Yeah, is a burger a sandwich? I'm gonna say yes, a hot dog is a sandwich. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of negative feedback for that. All right, next question.
What was your hardest recipe to develop?
Ooh, probably my madelines, which I know I say that wrong. Madelines, I don't know, people get on me about that. That took probably, like, I feel like it was 50 to 100 attempts. That was a real challenge, but it was worth it. All right, we're gonna give the Lonely Mixer a rest for a second while I start with my dry ingredients. So, all right, Zach, next question.
Have you always wanted to be a cook or baker?
I always enjoyed baking and cooking, but I never thought that's what I'd do with my life. I thought I would be either working with animals or a writer. I wanted to be a writer when I was younger. And then in college, I thought I would do just research in the field of psychology, which is what I went to school for. I did a lot of research for 8 or 10 years. Next question.
What goes through your mind while making new recipes?
I want to make sure that the recipes that I'm developing are accessible. I don't want to do anything too complicated. Of course, I'll do complicated techniques if they need to be done, but I want to make sure that I'm explaining them really well. And I literally want every recipe that I put on my website to be better than anything else out there. Like, that is my main goal. If it's not better than anything else out there, why bother? I'm gonna take this off the Lonely Mixer. Just getting a little less screen time than I thought, just because I'm worried about you guys being able to hear me. Oh, I should mention, this is why I don't have a pumpkin roll recipe. I have probably done 20, 30 pumpkin rolls, and I can't find one that beats the Libby's pumpkin roll, so we're not doing a pumpkin roll, because if I can't make it better, I'm not gonna put it out there.
What would you tell someone considering YouTube as a career?
So I don't consider myself as somebody who is a career YouTubist, so it's kind of tricky for me. My career is really more of my blog, but I'd say they're probably pretty similar. And just so long as you make sure that you're creating content that you would like to watch, make sure you're doing stuff that you truly enjoy. I don't think anybody can be successful in the content creation field, whether blogging or YouTube, unless they are really passionate about it. Because yes, we're making cookies and that is a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of dedication. Does that answer the question?
How old were you when you started baking?
My mom had me baking with her as long as I can remember, actually longer than I can even remember. I was homeschooled. My sister and I would finish school early and we would just bake cookies and make things, and so my whole life.
Will you ever sell merch?
Yes, that's actually something I'm working on now. I'm working on a really simple t-shirt shop where you should be able to get shirts and aprons, and I have a couple of ebooks available, which I can link to that. I've linked to it before, like holiday ebooks.
What's your favorite thing about making videos?
My favorite thing about making videos, probably everything that I get to eat when I'm done making the videos. The bite shot is probably my favorite. But realistically, I love that after I share my recipes, there's only so much you can put into writing. And I think when I make these videos, it's really nice for people to be able to see the texture of the food and how it's supposed to look. And my goal is to be helpful with them, which is actually why I don't use my stand mixer too much, because it's harder for the camera to get a good angle into the stand mixer. And I feel like I can show the texture and how the batter should look a lot better if I'm doing it with a hand mixer, and you can just kind of see the whole bowl that way.
What is your process for developing recipes?
This is a lot of work, developing a recipe. So I developed a bunch of base recipes back when I started, where I have a really solid cake recipe and I have a really solid cookie recipe. And when I want to develop another cake or another cookie, I usually go to my base recipes and see what I need to change. And then I usually make a lot of tweaks. I take a lot of attempts. I'll just test and retest, and I'll alter things little by little until I get exactly the texture and flavor and outcome that I'm looking for. It is a very tedious process. It takes longer than anything else, but it's all worth it. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break here real quickly. My big soft oatmeal cookie dough is done, and if you're baking along with me, hopefully yours is too. So I'm gonna cover this and I'm gonna pop it in the fridge to chill for about 30 minutes, and we'll be right back. All right, I am back with my cookie dough nice and chilled. My oven preheated to 375. So let's see what other questions you guys have for me.
Do you like working with your husband? Answer carefully.
Do I like working with my husband? Actually, yes, I love working with my husband. I met him when we were working together when we were 16. And I'm not just saying it because he's behind the camera and could make me look really bad. I love working with my husband and being around him all the time. Now, does he like working with me? That is a question for another day.
What is your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, because it's a big event with all of my family, and I love that. I love that we all get together, and there's a lot of food. I look forward to Thanksgiving dinner all year round, and when my son was born, I found out his due date. I was more worried than anything that he was going to be born on Thanksgiving, and I wasn't going to get to have Thanksgiving dinner that year.
What's your favorite food at Thanksgiving?
Mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes and cream corn is my favorite. Non-dessert. For dessert, I like my mom's apple pie, which I share on the blog, warm with ice cream, of course. Let's pop these in the oven. All right, hot, very hot oatmeal cookies coming up. Let's see if I can get these down without burning myself. I'm gonna let these cool for a couple minutes before I dig in. I think we have time to take one more question.
How do you get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube?
100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I would have to say, that's kind of tough. Sometimes I don't know how we got here, honestly, but I would say the key to growing is probably just consistently putting out content. I do work really hard to make sure the content is something I'm proud of every time, even though I always feel really awkward and a little uncomfortable on camera because I'm a major introvert. I still want to make sure I'm putting out content I'm proud of. I think that if you are always putting out your best work, you're trying your hardest, sounding a little bit cheesy, and you are consistent, because we put out 2 videos a week, even though there are plenty of weeks when I don't feel like actually doing it. So there are a lot of people out there who I'm sure have better advice than I do, but that is what I'd say is probably worked best for us. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up then. These are still too hot for me to eat, but I want to let everybody go. I just wanted to say thank you one more time for helping me get to 100,000 subscribers. I can't believe so many of you watch every week, and I am so appreciative. I'll see you next time with a new recipe, and thank you so much for watching.